Hi guys. Boy oh boy, things are progressing very quickly with the Colleen Ballinger and Kory DeSoto situation. So I figured that I would use today to provide you guys a little update and widen or broaden the conversation a little bit. Because what I want to talk about today is how parasocial relationships affect teenagers on social media. Because I've talked so much about social media. I've talked so much about parasocial relationships and kind of the weird things that come with those. And I don't think that they happen all the time. I don't think that it's a really common thing. But they can turn dark and scary so quickly. And instead of just putting in my own opinion, I'm going to cite a research experiment, whatever you want to call it, that was done on teens. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about the voice memo that was leaked of Kory DeSoto speaking, in my opinion, very inappropriately to his young fan chat, group chat, whatever you want to call it. I will play the clip. It came from Adam McIntyre's Twitter account, and I don't know who sent it to him, so I don't know, but it was in that group chat called Kory's KLIT, and we've already had the conversation about how weird the name of that group chat is. Now, I do have this written down so I don't mess up any of the words, but he said, "Hey everyone, it's Kory. I just wanted to record a voice memo because I have a lot to say. But first of all, I want to say that, I love all of you. Honestly, you mean so much to me. You have no idea. I know that sounds weird because I'm a full-grown adult and some of you are younger and blah, blah, blah. But, honestly, I think of all of you as my best friends. I don't have friends and am a loner and am a loser. And my only friend is Colleen. And it's so comforting to go online and talk to you guys and feel loved and cared about. Because I love and care about all of you. And I trust you. And with all my friends, I vent to you when I'm angry, and I feel better and I feel comforted by you all. And I hope I can do the same for you. But this whole thing with Krista has just escalated into something really bad." And that was the end of the voice memo.
Hey everyone, it's Kory. I just wanted to record a voice memo because I have a lot to say. But first of all, I just want to say that I love all of you. You all honestly mean so much to me.
Oh my god.
You have no idea. I know that it sounds weird because I'm a full-grown adult and some of you are younger.
Oh my god.
And blah blah blah.
Oh my god.
I honestly think of all of you as my best friends. I don't have friends.
Oh
and
god.
I'm a loner and I'm a loser. My only friend is Colleen.
Oh my god.
And it's so comforting to go online and talk to you guys and feel loved and cared about, because I love and care about all of you. And I trust you, and I with all my friends, I vent to you, and when I'm angry, and I feel better, and I feel comforted by you all, and I hope that I can do the same for you. But this whole thing with Krista has just escalated into something really bad.
Oh my god.
There are so many things wrong with this. And number one, let's just go through the obvious. It was a group chat that had minors in it. Group chat shouldn't have existed, but it did. Secondly, why are you telling children that they make you feel comfortable when you are a grown-ass adult, like you acknowledged? You should not be comfortable trauma dumping and oversharing and having these conversations with children, because if you're not an adult, you're still technically a child. Whether you're a toddler, a teenager, a kid in elementary school, you have children and you have adults, period. The tone in his voice in this voice memo I found to be very creepy. Just his tone and his inflection and the way that he speaks on YouTube versus this voice memo. I found that to be creepy. No adult should be finding comfort or stability or friends or anything like that with children online. I don't care. If you know that you are talking to a child and you continue that conversation, I think there is something wrong with you. And we're not talking about someone who was 18 or 19 talking to a follower that was 17 about to turn 18. Like, these are huge differences in ages. Many years in between. Out of everything that has come out so far, I think this is one of the most damning pieces of evidence that has come out about Kory. So many things wrong with this voice memo. It made my jaw just drop open. And once I listened to all of it, I had this feeling of like nausea because I could tell that it was so manipulative, so inappropriate, and so it's like you're like grooming these kids to make you feel comfortable, and you're an adult. How is that okay? And as far as him saying he's a loner and he doesn't have any friends, I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, it's probably because he has isolated himself with Colleen for the last, 11 years. So the voice memo, very, very weird. I wanted to provide this update to you guys right away. But like I said, I also want to talk about outside of what's going on with this situation. I want to put this in the same video just to get you guys talking and see what you guys think about this. Let's talk about grooming and parasocial relationships, specifically with minors online. Now, I'm going to be reading a lot, so you guys can, listen only or whatever you want to do. The actual definition for child grooming is establishing an emotional connection with a child, either online or in person, under the age of consent, and sometimes the child's family, to lower the child's inhibitions with the objective of sexual abuse. Child grooming is also used to lure minor children into various illicit businesses, such as trafficking, prostitution, cyber trafficking, or the production of child porn. Now, specifically, I wanted to dive into what is it specifically when it comes to the internet. Because when you think about where kids spend so much of their time now, it is on social media. Like, so many kids have phones by the time they're 8 or 9 years old, and they have access to the internet and all the social media platforms. And it says that grooming of children also occurs on the internet. Some of the users, sometimes posing as children themselves, chat with children online and make arrangements to meet with them in person. Online grooming of minors is most prevalent in relation to the 13 to 17-year-old age group, which makes up for 99% of cases. It continues by saying that children and teenagers with behavioral issues, such as high attention seeking, are at higher risk than others. Online grooming can happen on social media, gaming sites, or any site that allows individuals to communicate with one another. Since this kind of grooming happens online, the signs may be harder to recognize. Try thinking about grooming, specifically online grooming, as a long game. Predators will take their time to build trust and build a relationship with your loved one. It's a process of coercion and manipulation. Now I want to get into this study. This study I will link down below if you guys want to read it or read parts of it. Feel free, there will be a link down below. But this, when I think of YouTubers who talk to their fans that are young, this kind of just confirmed all of my concerns. In 2019, a total of 161 children aged 9 through 12 years old participated in this study. Participants were recruited in a large metropolitan area in the southern United States through local school districts, local public libraries, and events at a university. And any of y'all that have kids that are in this age range, it might also make you take a second look at who they're interacting with online and who they're subscribed to and possibly talking to. So it continues by saying the study explores how tweens are watching YouTube and the nature of their parasocial relationships and wishful identification with their favorite YouTuber personalities. Later in this study, you'll hear a lot of abbreviations of PSRs and WI. So, parasocial relationships and wishful identification. Results show that tweens identified gender congruent YouTubers as their favorite. Moreover, tweens perceived male and female YouTubers to have different attributes. For instance, male YouTubers were rated to be more violent than female YouTubers, and female YouTubers were rated as more attractive and popular than male YouTubers. Gender also played a role in attachment patterns. Tween boys' wishful identification was predicted by YouTubers who were more violent and funny than their parasocial relationships were predicted. Tween boys' wishful identification was predicted by YouTubers who were violent and funny, and their parasocial relationships were predicted by YouTubers who were funny, successful, and attractive. Meanwhile, the girls' wishful identification was predicted by YouTubers who were funny, and their parasocial relationships were predicted by YouTubers who were funny and popular. And I find that to be really interesting because I have been talking about how problematic Miranda Sings is for years now. And when you think of that type of comedy and her fan base, I just find this conversation to be, it brings some things full circle as far as like my opinion goes. Now, this study did go on to say that a parasocial relationship doesn't necessarily grow stronger simply by the subscriber following the YouTuber on multiple different platforms. What did really fuel the fire is talking to the YouTuber one-on-one, or in a messaging, or getting a comment response. Receiving that direct response from a YouTuber is what really fuels this parasocial dynamic between these young kids and who they're watching. Parasocial relationships among tweens will be positively related to receiving responses from the YouTuber. Compared to merely seeing a YouTuber across multiple social media platforms, a more powerful predictor of PSRs may be whether a YouTuber directly communicates with a tween through messages or comments. 1/3, which is 32.7% of the participants, reported leaving at least one comment for a YouTuber during the average week. And although it may seem like a rare occurrence, several participants, 11.6%, reported that a YouTuber had responded to their comments. Sending a private message to a YouTuber during an average week was rare, with only 6.8% of the tweens reporting doing so. Only 5.5% of them reported receiving responses to their private messages. And when you're talking about having millions and millions and millions of followers, think about how many people that could be. Not only did they want to be like their favorite YouTuber, they also reported experiencing feelings of friendship. Results indicated that tweens are forming fairly strong PSRs with their favorite YouTuber. Much like WI, PSRs were positively related to time spent on YouTube and to perceived similarity between the tween and the YouTuber. This part is very interesting to me. It says, their PSRs were predicted by YouTubers who were humorous. This finding makes sense as research shows that people who are funny are more socially attractive and likable. Beyond humor, tween boys and girls experienced unique predictors of PSR. Boys' PSR was stronger for successful YouTubers who achieved goals, and PSR tended to be stronger for attractive YouTubers. Meanwhile, the girls strengthened to popular YouTubers who are well liked and respected. And when you think of that, like funny YouTuber who has a really clean-cut image and all of this kind of stuff, relating that to having a young audience, I find intriguing. Not only do young people follow their real-life friends on social media, but the results of this study show that many tweens also follow their favorite YouTuber friends across social media platforms other than YouTube. We anticipated that keeping up with their favorite YouTubers across social media platforms would predict tweens' PSRs, but this is not the case. And then it goes on to repeat what it said earlier about how getting a response or talking to them directly fueled that fire instead of simply following them on multiple platforms. The last part of this study that I want to read for you guys is kind of what finishes out my thoughts on all this. Contact between a YouTuber and a viewer pushes the boundaries of PSRs into the interpersonal realm. That is to say, what started as a one-sided relationship becomes two-sided when the YouTuber can communicate with the fan. We asked participants if they felt like their favorite YouTuber had become their friend. Over one quarter, which is 27.8%, of the sample replied yes. Many tweens may be experiencing a hyper-personal parasocial relationship that is mostly one-sided, but it occasionally becomes interpersonal. Research should explore these new hyper-personal parasocial relationships as they could mediate or moderate other media effects. Now, obviously, when we're talking about two adults having a conversation, like, this has nothing to do with a YouTuber talking to an adult fan. Once you're talking about teenagers and a young audience having direct communication in fandom group chats or, you know, talking in DMs on Instagram or back and forth in email and stuff, that's where it becomes inappropriate very quickly. And I think specifically designing a group chat where you invite some of your most strong-willed fans to come into that conversation knowing that they are underage and minors it goes beyond not having ethics. It just breaches all sense of being a good person, in my opinion. It is not necessary to have conversations with young fans. It's not necessary. There are ways that you can tell your subscribers openly that you appreciate their support. And those young fans will feel included and appreciated. You don't have to make group chats. You don't need to be, an adult sending these weird voice memos to these young kids, because eventually the truth comes out. And if you're being inappropriate with young kids behind the scenes, eventually it's going to come out. And that's exactly what is happening here. And like I said in my other video, I am sure that Colleen and Kory are scrambling. Her entire empire could come crumbling down depending on how far this goes. And I think she should be held accountable. So either way, again, I'm not with the bullying stuff and all that, but I have come across many people on YouTube, and I think that they are displaying disgusting behavior. And that's how I feel about this too. It is appalling, and it is just completely unacceptable, and it's important to talk about. I think that's going to be it for today. I have some other videos coming, but I know a lot of you guys are interested in this situation and following the story. We'll just have to see how it goes from here, but wanted to give you guys this little update for today. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.